Welcome back to Mr. Orr's Flipped Classroom for Grammar. Continuing with different sentence types with complex sentences. Better define subordinate conjunctions. These are words such as if, since, because, and while, which connect whole clauses to independent clauses. Alright, look at this table from before. You'll see it's the same, other than the color change, of course, with the exception of the italicized line at the bottom. A complex sentence is one and only one independent clause with one or more dependent clauses. The most common two types of a dependent clause are going to be independent clause followed by a dependent clause with no punctuation between, or you might have a dependent clause followed by a comma, then an independent clause. Alright, looking at these things. Number one's the same as the last time. Find each clause using verbs, subjects, and conjunctions. Remember to put a comma before the coordinate conjunction in a compound sentence, but not before an incomplete clause. You don't put it before something that's lacking either a subject or a verb. Also remember, do not use a comma before a subordinate conjunction. That kind of conjunction is in itself an interruption to the sentence, and it changes what it means. It's not things on the same level. So use a comma after a subordinate clause only if it precedes the independent clause in a sentence. Just wait for the example. You'll be fine. One other note. You can start a sentence with a subordinate conjunction. You can start a sentence with the word because, but only if you follow that dependent clause with an independent clause. Let's get some examples. Though my friends all wanted to go to the game, I preferred to watch a movie. Alright, verbs. We have wanted, to go, we can ignore it because that's an infinitive, preferred, and to watch. To watch also being an infinitive, we'll ignore that one. So who wanted? We can argue it's my friends or all, but either way there's a subject for wanted. And we can look at preferred. Who wanted? Who preferred? I preferred. So we have two clauses. Is there anything in front of the I preferred? The comma. That's actually a good clue. Is there anything in front of my friends? Though. Those are subordinate conjunction. So in this sentence, it looks like we have a dependent clause, comma, right there, and independent clause, period. All right, there you go. Though my friends all wanted to go to the game, period, that would be a fragment. But because we have a comma following with the independent clause, I preferred to watch a movie, that's considered a complex sentence. One more example. Waiting for the letter, I grew more anxious with each passing day. It's like verbs we might have waiting, we have grew, and passing. All right. Waiting, ing. Is there any helping verb in front of that? Nope. Then waiting for the letter is not a complete clause. It's a phrase, but not a clause. And the comma tells us when the phrase stops, so we can ignore that first part. Grew. Grew is looks like a verb. Does it have a subject? I. Yes, it does. What about passing? Again, no helping verb. Is passing describing something? Yeah, it's describing the day. Okay, that's not a verb then. We only have one verb and one subject. Even though this might look like a complex sentence, it's actually a simple sentence because there's only one clause. Again, clauses can still have phrases around them, but it's subject-verb pairs that create a clause. The difference between independent and dependent clauses is whether there's a subordinate conjunction in front of that subject-verb combination. These exercises, again, figure out your verbs, your subjects, and your conjunctions, especially whether they're coordinating or subordinating, and label them. Be sure to identify what type of syntax formula there is from the table. There's one other type we didn't talk about much, which you can bring up to your teacher. It's when basically you have a subject, then a dependent clause, and then the rest of the sentence, rest of the verb. There's typically not going to be any punctuation between the two. There might be. You don't see it much, but there's probably one or two on the packet. Be sure to ask your teacher about those so they can go over that specifically. But you're unlikely to see that a lot, even on the test, particularly in 7th grade. Good hunting.